So you're going to get your butter knife or table knife. We want to use a butter knife and or table knife because it is flat, it's not sharp, and it has a wider tip to it, and that's going to provide less pressure when pulling up. So we don't want to crack the headphones themselves. Obviously, if we crack the earpads, who cares? You're replacing them anyways. But you don't want to be using anything with a very narrow tip, because that's going to apply more pressure to the actual headphones when you're kind of giving a little pry up, and also the earpad. So higher chance of damage. You're going to find a little gap right here between the plastic frame and the earpad, and that's where you're going to put your knife, just the tip, and then you're going to give it a little pry up. You're going to work your way around, and you're going to do it until you get a gap big enough so you can fit your finger in there and get the whole earpad off, like so. There you go. That was the left earpad. And now I'll do the right one. Same thing. There's no difference at all. We're going to find that gap, and we're going to give it a little pry. Move along. Move along. There we go. That cracking you're hearing is not the plastic, that is the earpad and the actual adhesive separating. There we go. And we're almost there. Move around a bit more. Now it's coming. And I can get my finger in there now, so there we go. Those two are off. And we're ready to install the new earpads. Alright, the AHG Solo 2 replacement earpads. Now, it's important to note that you have Solo 2 headphones, the wired version, and then you have Solo 2 wireless version. As you can see, mine are a bit broken, but that doesn't matter. The difference here is on the right earpad or earphone, where we have no little USB port on the wired one, and then on the wireless we have a USB port. So that means there's going to be a gap needed in the right earpad of the wireless earpad, whereas on the wired earpad you don't need to have that gap. However, the earpads we're selling have the gap. So we're selling the left earpad, which is no gap at all, fits on both, no problem. And then we're also selling the right earpad that has that cutout gap at the bottom. It's meant for Solo wireless, but it fits on the Solo wired just as well. It does not affect anything to do with the sound, because the plastic here actually is only half cut out. And the adhesive we're putting on is thick, and it will fill that gap easily, providing more sound isolation. So looking at the earpad itself and the adhesive, this is the big difference between our earpads and our adhesives compared to the others, is that we've actually upgraded the material. So you can see that there's a little bit more graininess to, or deeper lines I should say, not graininess, but deeper lines to this protein leather. And that usually is a sign for Beats earpads specifically, not so much for Bose or any other earpads that we sell, but for these ones, this material here is better than the more not so grainy stuff. And now we're looking at the adhesive. This is the crux of the whole thing here, is the adhesives usually that are out there on the market are too thin, and also we've specialized the plastic frame on the back. So this plastic frame is at the right concaveness / height to actually fit onto the headphones properly while using our specific thickness of adhesive. Most of the adhesives you find on the market are paper thin, and that is very hard to install on an earpad if you have to. If they come installed, the problem you're going to face is getting them to stick on the headphones. odds are they're going to fall off. It might not fall off that day or that week, but week or two, they're probably going to fall off. And that's because you're working with this plastic frame here, and you have to adapt to the plastic frame. And a lot of the factories that are making these ear pads, they're just making one plastic frame that they think works, and they're not willing to deviate from that. So when you're able to make the plastic frame that's a perfect shape for the actual headphone, and you add in a stickier but thicker adhesive, it makes the installation process much easier, but also much more effective. Right, so we're going to look at installing these ear pads, and we're going to start with the wireless headphones, wireless Solo 2s, and we're going to look at that right earphone again, and that has the USB port. So normally you would have a adhesive that has a cutout on it, similar to the right ear pad, which has the cutout on the bottom so that it fits onto there with the plastic frame. Now we have not done that. We have left the adhesive without the cutout because that extra bit of adhesive will help stick the ear pads better. We're going to actually look at the right ear pad. We're here looking at the right ear pad. It's black, so it's hard to see the holes, but you can see there's one hole right here by my finger, a little one, and you can see another one right there by my other finger. We're going to find the adhesive that matches those holes. So right now I have one hole there and one hole there, and that is putting that over top of here. That doesn't work, so that means it's the other one I got to get. So I'll take that one, and it's going to go on here, like so. So we're going to take off the back white tape on the adhesive with our fingernail. Be careful you don't pull the adhesive with the tape. And now we're going to line up these little holes on the adhesive tape with the little holes on the back of the ear pad. We'll start with the top one. So that one's matched up. And now we're going to go flip it around, and we're going to go and match up the second hole. We're going to give, once we match up it with the hole, we're going to give it a little bit of a press so that it sticks there, and then the rest of the tape we're going to go around and push down like that. And then finally we're just going to do a little press like this and a twist. Don't twist too much because then you're going to mark the leather, but the press, you can go around with your finger as well, like so. Make sure it's down. Now we take off the 3M tape on the top, slowly so we don't pull the adhesive away. And you can see how you have that extra bit of adhesive there. But looking at the holes look like they've matched up quite well. Just to be sure, we're going to take our knife, put it on the hole, and we're going to do a little bit of a drill to kind of open that up a bit. Don't worry, you're not going to hurt the adhesive. It's just going to make installing it a little bit easier. You want to pull that apart so there's a bit more gap. And now, time to line it up. So we're going to look down the headphone like this. We're going to match up that top hole with this top piece or plastic bit. And then once that's in, you'll feel it. Oops. You'll feel it fit in, and then you're going to line up the second one at the top here. And there we go. I'm going to give it a press now. Make sure you cup your hands behind the headphone when you're pushing into it. You can go around each one for maybe a minute or so, and that will guarantee that it's stuck. 100% guarantee that it's stuck then. But even doing it this much will result in it being stuck. And if you want to be sure, once again, you can put this down like that, give it a little press. Not too hard, don't have to twist it this time, just give it a press. And there, that one is on. And as you can see, it's not coming off. So it's already stuck on really well, and it's gonna stay stuck. You're gonna have to pull pretty hard. You have to use the knife to get that off. Alright, moving on to the left ear pad, we are going to get our last piece of adhesive. We're going to peel that back off again. Now the left ear pad is the same on the Solo 2 wired and the Solo 2 wireless. So the installation for that one's exactly the same. Looking at the Solo 2 wireless and the right ear pad, which we just installed, the only difference there was actually that the adhesive didn't have a cutout, and as you can see it's fine, there's no adhesive sticking on out the bottom. So technically speaking, the actual installation of the right ear pad for the Solo 2 and the Solo 2 wireless, it's exactly the same as well. It's just that when you're doing the actual Solo 2, that right ear pad is going to have to be lined up the same way you did it with the left ear pad, rather than having that cut out as a good guide for when you own the wireless version. Right, so we're going to start again with matching up this little hole in the adhesive to the top hole on the ear pad, and we're going to give it a little press down there so it sticks, not much at all, just a little one. And then we're going to take the second hole and match that up with the hole on the frame of the ear pad again. Give that a little press. We're going to go around and we're going to make sure that it looks pretty good for us. It looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to give it a quick little push and slide around, making sure it's stuck. Pretty stuck. Moving on to the actual 3M tape, we're going to pull that off the front using our fingernail, like that. And now, it helps if you fold the other arm out of the way. In this case, my left arm is broken, so it's going to make it easy for me to attach it. So what I'm actually going to do is attach it to my wired version. So we got the right, this is going to be the left. And we're now looking to line up that top hole with the black. There's that same black piece of plastic, or sorry, that same piece of plastic right there, you can see it, that we're going to use to line things up. And in my case, yeah, there we go, there's the other one right there. So I'm going to fit that one in first, on top. That's in. And the last one's going to be down here. You can watch that one go in too. If it's not going in right away, you can give it a little wiggle. Ah, that one's in. And now we're going to compress. And one more time. There we go. So that is stuck on nice and tight. If you have any questions about this installation or any other product that we have, accessoryhouse@btinternet.com is our email.